So if you look at every product built in a valley, or the vast majority of them, they are built with the assumption that there is a developer on the other end, right? Which is true in a valley, right? But it's not true for 95% of the rest of the world, right? Another very common question that we've been getting from founders and LPs today is where there's a reason to exist for Brazilian companies in an AI-driven market. And my hypothesis is that it does, right? Basically because we're in a very different context from the Valley. And different contexts will build different companies. So some of them are going to be applicable into markets outside Brazil. Some of them are going to be very local, right? So the obvious local ones are things to do with tax, legal systems, or the Brazilian logistics system. So those are inherently local opportunities, but the Valley develops products for the context that they know, which is the Valley. So if you look at every product built in a valley, or the vast majority of them, they are built with the assumption that there is a developer on the other end, right? Which is true in a valley, right? But it's not true for 95% of the rest of the world, right? When you're looking at a steel mill in the middle of the Midwest in the US or in the Amazon, they do not have a developer. So you need to develop a different product for that different situation. And we think in Brazil, we have a very specific set of contexts that will help us build companies that might be relevant outside. So what we've been spending a lot of time on is things like, how do we do security? Not at the API level, sitting on top of OpenAI or an Anthropic API, but how do we do front-end solutions that monitor individual behavior? Because that's the problem that our companies are going to have in LATAM is your secretary or your analyst putting up some private data, not even in your corporate cloud, but on his individual AI account. So it's a different set of problems. It's a different set of solutions. For example, bringing security, AI security to the front end for us is a big thesis, and it's applicable outside of Latin America. Other things that are very relevant in Latin America and that are going to get exported, right? Whereas in Eastern Europe, we see a lot of hacking. In Latin America, fraud is mostly social engineering. So how do we develop fraud combat products that are focused on social engineering and how fraud is developed in Brazil? That's gonna also translate to international markets. Brazil is a very big WhatsApp economy, right? We already have banks on WhatsApp. We already have e-commerce on WhatsApp. As we see adoption of WhatsApp going up in the US, things are going to get designed for WhatsApp. And honestly, I think our experience of playing with the tool and with those interactions for the past 7-8 years are going to play a big role in who actually developed the leading solutions for WhatsApp that are going to be deployed in the US. So there are a bunch of different things in our context that create specific opportunities. Some of them are very local, some of them can be exported, and that's why we think there is a space here to build relevant companies in an AI world that comes out of LATAM.